When a senior is faced with the decision to make a change in how they live or where they live, the very first thing that comes to mind is cost. And cost turns into sticker shock. We spend our whole lives planning. We plan for retirement, we plan for downsizing, we plan for the children being launched, we plan for all of these things in our life, but we rarely ever plan for the time when we personally need to make a change. Self-reflection is often the hardest thing that any human being can do. We often don't see ourselves aging. We see everything around us occurring, but we fail to see our own self in the mirror on a daily basis growing older. And as we age, things come with that. Things like changes in ability. Changes in ability are really the main reason that an industry like mine exists. We want to help and support seniors through these changes in ability. And when they're recognized, the very first thing that comes to mind is potentially the need for living in an environment where you need assistance, which, albeit is the term assisted living. When you move into an environment like this, or you look at moving into an environment like assisted living or even independent living, there's associated cost. And oftentimes when you're presented with those core costs up front, you immediately reel back and go, oh my God, I can't afford that. But the reality is that when you do cost comparisons to how you live your everyday life, paying for your mortgage, paying for your utility bills, paying for your insurance, paying for food, just your food budget on a monthly basis can be $500 to $800 a month for a couple. And you have to look at those numbers, your utility costs, the maintenance for the pool, the cost of maintaining your lawn, just the general upkeep of the house from every year it's going to need a little something to keep it up to par. And when you add all these numbers up, and you realize what you're actually spending on a monthly basis. Taxes, I didn't mention taxes, I don't think, but when you take all of these things and look at them together, you start to realize that an assisted living environment with an average cost in the state of Florida at about $4,500 a month, things start to come more in line. And you start to realize, oh, this is more affordable than I really realized, because when you move into these environments, everything is included. It's a very inclusive environment. Your meals are included. Basic care is included. All your utilities are included. Your telephone bill, your cable bill, housekeeping, weekly housekeeping, daily garbage service, everything that you could imagine needing or having to pay for in a home environment are typically provided for you in an assisted living environment under this cost structure. So it starts to balance out. The scales at first look very, very lopsided, and you say, $4,500 a month, that's an extraordinary amount of money. But then when you start to compare, it becomes more of an apples to apples argument, and you start to realize that staying at home and potentially having the need for care at home is just an added layer of cost. If you were to take a home care example, the average rate of home care in the state of Florida is between $25 and $35 an hour. If you needed that home care just a few hours a day over the course of the week, that number can become substantial. And while you're paying that home care cost, you're still incurring the entire overhead of your living expenses in the home environment. It's really, really important to really understand holistically what you're looking at in terms of how the numbers shake out. It can be way more affordable than you really think up front.